I'm a physical therapist. I've been a physical therapist for 19 years. And my background is in orthopedics, but also Parkinson's disease. So I've done a lot of work with Parkinson's, and right now, so I opened my own practice a year ago. And I do Parkinson's exercise classes out of the space, and then orthopedic physical therapy and physical therapy for Parkinson's disease. So yeah, and you can call me Dr. Kathy. I have my doctorate in physical therapy, and I just love doing this stuff because I have a specialty in fall prevention. It's another one of something dear to my heart. I'm seeing a lot of people coming in post injury, post falls, and not enough education on how to prevent, like how do we work on this? How do we prevent this? So it's kind of dear to my heart, this topic. Very much so. And then getting the sufficient amount of exercise and the appropriate amount of exercise to help prevent falls. Very important. That's kind of one of the reasons why I went off on my own as well, because I wanted to do more of the preventative side. And when you're in the corporate physical therapy, it's, you don't have the opportunity to do the preventative aspect of it, which is sad, but that's kind of how our healthcare system is. It doesn't focus on preventative care. This focuses on preventative care. So that's my background and what led me to open my own practice. And it's been very fun. Very fun. Are they on?
I think we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're fine. Yeah, you got it.
Go?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. So George wrote me an email, said, hey, someone's asking, how do I fall appropriately? Like, how do I prevent this from happening? And how do I prevent injury from happening when I fall? What can I do? What exercises can I do to help? And so then he reached out to me and I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely something very important. So then that's led to this presentation. So I'm so happy to be here. Happy for you guys to have me. Thank you, joint effort. I do send my people here a lot too, because it's a great place to continue to exercise. Okay, so I made this little sheet. Now, when you're falling, you're really not thinking about these things. So it is very, take it with a grain of salt, because in some falls you cannot prevent. You're going to trip over that, whatever that you can see in the parking lot, or you're going to slip on the ice that you didn't see. Those things happen, but if you balance train and you work on, come on in. Balance reactions, we call them. If you're able to cross a balance, like how to react to a loss. A lot of us don't know how to react to a loss of balance. You are less likely to fall. So that's kind of what the fall prevention training in physical therapy does. It puts you in situations where you're losing your balance and you need to figure out what do I do? How do I do that? Now there's multiple facets to that. Okay, because you have to have the strength. You have to have the strength in your legs, you have to strengthen the arms. That's where the regular exercise comes in as a fall prevention. Exercising 2 to 3 times a week, strengthening your legs, strengthening your arms to prevent that fall. Okay, because if you don't have the muscle strength, you're not going to be able to have the balance reaction. And then training your balance reactions. That's what we do in physical therapy. We put you in situations where you're going to lose your balance, and I see if you can actually react to it. And then you train it. You do it over and over and over until you're like, that came naturally to me. Now I actually was going to lose my balance, and I stepped and I caught it and I didn't fall. That's where, as a PT, I want you to be to prevent falls. Okay, so these are tips for when, I'm going. I have tripped, I am falling. So these are just in general tips, kind of keep them in the back of your head when you, God forbid, you cannot prevent that fall and you're going. You want to roll and land to your side. So of course, if you're completely flailing, you're not going to do this. But say you're like, oh God, I'm tripping. Let me roll. So I'm going to roll onto my side if I can react to the fall. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're just going. But if you can react to the fall, these are the tips. Roll and land to your side and lean into the fall. That seems weird too, right? But you kind of want to lean into that fall when you're going. Tuck your chin. If if you can think of these things and turn your head away from the fall. I know, because it is silly. It is silly, because when you're falling, you're not thinking, but now you have these things in your brain, and when you train it in physical therapy, you actually can start to anticipate falls. Right? You can start to anticipate falls, and then you have these tips in your head. Avoid landing on your back or your face. Obviously, you don't want to go straight forward. You want to land on cushy spots. So say you're like walking in the park, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going. Put your butt down. Put your butt down. That's cushy spot. That's where you want to land. You don't want to fall on your hip. See if you can kind of get yourself down. Again, but think about this. If your legs are strong, you actually can control these things. So strengthening in here, your legs, and I'll show you the appropriate exercises, helps all that. So same concept, bend your knees and wrists so you can like crouch down if you can do it. Try to land on fleshy parts like your bottom or towards the grass. Avoid trying to stop the fall by putting your arms and hands straight out. That's how we get fractures.
Yeah, I think that's,
When you fall back like that.
your instinct.
It is
I mean,
your
it
instinct.
just
It is
feels
100% your instinct to fall like this, whatever, with your arm out.
Yeah, it's
And
not
if you're gonna
helping.
hit your face or your head, you do want to use your hand because you'd rather have a fracture in your wrist than hit your head.
Mm.
So if you're there, you need to, put your hand out before you hit your head. The most important things you don't want to hit is your head and the side of your hip. A wrist fracture we could deal with. Roll at the end of your fall to spread the impact. Again, I don't think anyone can roll at the end of their fall, but that's one of the tips. Exercise regularly and incorporate balance in your exercise routine. That's 100%. There you go. That's what's going to help you. And they say within a 6-month period, it comes out to like 3 times a week for 30 to 60 minutes. You should be exercising to prevent falls. That's in the studies, which I'm sure you're all doing, hopefully that you're here. We're doing at least 30 minutes 3 times a week. And 30 to 60 minutes is even better. So if you can do 30 to 60 minutes 3 times a week, you're in that good routine of being able to prevent a fall. Just general exercise, any exercise. You do want to incorporate balance, and I know you guys have balance. You have balance classes. Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays. Don't miss them.
They all also have balance movements like inside of their
In the
own
program.
prescriptions.
Yeah. Great. So you want to work your balance. That's like single leg. That's like feet together, eyes closed, on a foam. Just doing all this. Yeah. Tandem stance. Good. What else are you guys doing?
We'll do like side step on the pad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
Ladder heel, so walk.
Yeah, they're on it. They're on it.
They're amazing.
Good.
Bird dips.
Bird dips. Good. No, that's great.
I like
That's his favorite.
Doing a lot on uneven surfaces.
Want to demonstrate though?
He's showing off all the time.
Stepping over things. Hurdles, cones, tapping things.
We do that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. And then changing directions like this, and then even turning, stepping, stepping.
Oh.
Good things. You could even put a hurdle. Go, now you have to turn and do the hurdle again over here. So multi-directional, and you can give them cues, right, go left, go right.
We'll
And then-
be blaming you for all these exercises.
I know. And then, so this is all great things you can do in here, and they can prescribe for you. All right, so what I really do also want to go over, we'll go back to the exercises in a little bit, but once you're on the floor, what do you do? Okay, so now we've gotten, we could not prevent it, we are now on the floor. So the tips are right on here. You're gonna take a deep breath, you're gonna make sure nothing's broken, you're gonna make sure you're not in a lot of pain. If that happens, you're calling whoever you need to call, emergency, 911, or someone in the house that can check you. Okay, that's number one. So before you move, make sure you're not injured. If you're okay, you're gonna try rolling to your side and then getting on your elbows and then your hands and knees. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you have to practice it. So I'm gonna actually ask someone to come up to try it. And we'll go through a couple of exercises you can do that mimic these movements into getting up. Crawl, then you have to crawl or scoot over to a chair. Now, if you're in the middle of a field, right, you're like on the sidewalk and there's, what am I gonna do? You find, if you can, find something that you can crawl over to and put your hands on. Now, sometimes that's not always, then you just call for help if you can't get up. Okay? And then you're gonna put one foot up, push through your hands, and put the other foot up, and then stand up. So the key is being able to crawl, which a lot of us aren't comfortable with. Our knees hurt, we don't wanna put pressure. I can't put pressure on my knees, I can't.
I can't.
I know, so that's a problem, but with a lot of padding, you can train it. You can train it, you can get a little less sensitive. You could try. I know a lot of my patients do resist this as well. You could, just to prepare you for that, you try it every, like once a month, let me make sure I can still get up. Because you don't want to be in that situation where you're on the floor and you can't get up. If you're not hurt, yeah. And I think we overlook that a lot, even as PTs. We should be getting people to the floor. We should be practicing this. Like, why are we, like, let's make people feel comfortable being on their knees and getting up. So there's ways you can practice it in a controlled environment with a PT or with an exercise physiologist. Okay, and then once you're up like this, you're gonna turn and safely sit in the chair, okay? If you're in a field, you gotta call for help or something like that. Okay, so how do you guys feel about that? Who thinks they definitely could not do that? Because of the knees?
Yeah.
Because you cannot get on your hands and knees? Okay.
Is it because of replacements?
What a meat it is, it's replacement.
I'm sorry.
Is it because of replacements?
Actually,
Oh,
there's no
replacement in both.
Yeah.
I know, it
Right now,
hurts.
one is
It
cut
hurts.
open because I fell on it.
It does hurt.
Oh.
It hurts me when I get off. I mean, it's just, it's a hard thing. Okay.
Not hips. How about if you can't use your knees and you scoot on your rear end to get to something?
so
How would you
like
get
this?
up?
Like this? So say you can't get on your hands and knees, so you come over like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could get yourself up like this either. You have to use a lot of,
Yeah.
but
a lot
yes,
of
this is
arm
another
strength.
way.
But if you have
turn on
something
your
low
side.
enough, like an ottoman, a low ottoman or something.
You could try that.
Except it might move. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
roll,
nothing rolling.
I roll to the, like if I'm outside in the yard, which I've been a couple times and
Okay.
I've fallen.
Yep.
And the dog's licking me and there's nobody around and I don't have a phone.
Yeah,
So I lay there, assess the situation and I roll over by the steps.
and then you get up.
Sit up
And then you can
and
sit
then
on
push
the side.
myself back. on
There you
the step
go.
With,
That's good.
it's difficult, but I can do it, yeah.
That's how you got up. That's good.
One time.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can scoot on your butt and try to push
Yeah.
up. Especially, this is high, an ottoman might be high too, unless it's really low. A step, you
Step
probably
I
could get
could,
yourself
yeah.
up to.
Right. Mhm.
And then maybe grab a rail.
Or go over to like a lawn chair, I've done that too. Go over to the lawn chair and then got up on the lawn
Like
chair.
that?
Well, and
Now
that,
forward.
and that
If
seems,
you scoot like you were doing,
Uh-huh.
then can you kind of roll to your side? How would you get up if you didn't want to?
So if you do not want to crawl,
Right. or if
yes, but you
scoot like
could
you
put
did.
pressure on your knees for a hot second. Yes,
Okay,
you could do that. So you'd scoot over.
but if you couldn't get on your knees, how would you get up from your side? I know.
Oh, from
roll.
your side.
Yeah, if you couldn't get on your knees.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, that's a
Yeah,
lot
again,
of,
then, but that's different than.
that would be
being on your
very
knees.
hard.
Right.
Well, on that, right like that, I mean, you're really flexed. The old knees don't do that so well.
Exactly. That's why this would be almost impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why this is the best. This is the best, and that's why we have to train it.
And also like this machine here, like the chest press machine, like watch when Kathy was on, she's using her upper body a
A
lot.
lot.
Like,
was
it's-
just
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say
why you
that.
want to train your, don't forget
Really-
about your arms.
Yeah,
Like-
Look how much.
Arm strength.
yeah,
Yes.
arm strength.
most of
So, yeah.
most of the time, like you're depending on one leg to get you up, right? And that's
Yes.
not easy. But if you're incorporating your shoulders, triceps, chest by using stuff like this and a lot of the other movements that they prescribe, it really helps. That's a huge part, and people don't necessarily think of upper body strength as being important for this, but it's
Very, very
Yeah.
much important. Very much important. Even just to like catch yourself. It's important. So you don't slam down. So yeah, do not forget about your upper extremity. Okay, who wants to try?
Berman.
And then I can show you.
This is the only time I've heard you quiet, Ronnie.
I know.
I'm thinking.
Come on, Ronnie.
I'm reading.
We have pads. We have pads for the knees here. This is what's great. It's a controlled environment. This is why we train it in this environment. Because we can control it and it gets easier and then it gets easier and then maybe we don't need the pad. And then, you know what I mean? But you gotta practice it.
I've been practicing. I'm kind of interested in the landing part,
Mhm.
and then I can.
You
get
can't
up,
get, you wanna
so
show us?
Show you which. I mean, I
Get
want
up.
you to show me about, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll go back to
We're
the
all with you.
exercise.
All right.
We're all with you.
Let's go.
On the camera.
Camera's off. Do you want me to? I'm happy to.
All right, get down any way you want.
Yes.
Okay, go on your back. And like completely be flat.
This is where the arthritis comes in.
Yes. All right, so you've fallen.
Help.
Are you okay? Check your body. She's fine. She can still get up. Yep. No pain. I just lost my breath. I need to take a couple deep breaths. All right. Now, now you're gonna roll.
Okay.
So show us how you roll. Yep. Good. Now go back onto your back. Didn't realize this was gonna be so. Okay, look, that is an exercise right there.
Yeah.
I am going to roll and I am going to come back. I'm going to roll and I'm going to come back. We are breaking it down in 2 steps. I'm going to do it 10 times. I'm going to push with my hand and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to push with my hand. I'm training my body to do this easily. Okay, so 10 times each. Right there, you could incorporate that into an exercise program if that was difficult for you. All right, go ahead.
What do you want me to do?
Do the same thing. Turn, roll and turn. And now, oh, rolling. Yeah, you got it. Now try to get on your hands and knees.
Okay.
So you want your elbows under you. Good. And get on your hands and knees. You got to be on the mat though.
Actually, I'm better this way.
There you go. Any way you need. Nice. Okay. So now she's there.
And this used to hurt a lot more than it does now.
See, you can train. You can. I say that with a caveat. Like sometimes you just can't. Some of my people, they're just like, no matter what. But you can train it, and you can train it on a pad first and desensitize a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I told you that one. You're just rolling. That's an exercise. Now she got onto her hands and knees. Okay. All right. You could practice that. Sitting, hands and knees. Sitting, hands and knees. 10 times. Do it the other way. Sitting, hands and knees. Okay? We're breaking this whole thing down. Sorry.
I need to do here more often.
All right. So now you're going to crawl. Okay? Now this is an exercise. I am going to crawl back. I'm going to crawl forward. Opposite hand and knee. Okay? You could even get down and do this 10 times. We're just breaking down, and this is how we train it. All right, do you want the pad? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna get our hands. All right. She's so great. She's so great. All right, now we're gonna do push-ups on the chair. Look at that. Now we can train this 10 times. 2. Let's do 10. 3. She really didn't know what she was getting herself into. 4.
Well,
Okay.
I come yesterday.
5. Yeah, check this off on the thing.
Get credit.
Good, all right, so here she is, there we go, now we can train that part of it, and you don't have to do all of them all at once, you can just pick one and put it in your exercise routine for that day. I'm gonna do 10 chair, you can do it in, so say you hate being on your knees. Do it in standing. Do it like that,
Sometimes
pile up some things.
I've done it at the fireplace at home.
Yes, oh God,
Yeah.
careful,
Yeah.
be careful.
Yeah.
Do it on the wall, you can't even get there, do it on the wall. It's all training,
Train.
everything's modifiable.
Right.
Okay. All right, so now we're here. Now what do we have to do?
Well, Megan said using the dominant leg is helpful, so I put
I love
that on it.
Yep. Okay.
And I said it so that
All right, now bring it back. Bring it back. Don't get up. Right there. Look what I'm doing.
Different
I'm doing
exercise.
an exercise
That's
10 times. Let's alternate. 1. See, this is hard now, but you do it, you'll get stronger. You're working your hip flexor. You're working your flexibility. Your adductors are getting stretched. Oh my God, isn't this great? I love this stuff. This gets me all excited. All right. This is why I was so excited. All right, so now come here. All right, and now how you're gonna push yourself up. We're gonna use that.
I'm gonna
Press
put this toe and both myself up.
Nice.
Very good.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so now we're here. You can go sit if you want. Thank you. Yeah, you did awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You could even just stay here.
Good job.
Into that, so that feels a little uncomfortable. I'm a little not. All right, I'm just gonna go up and down here. Flexibility. I'm gonna get my flexibility. And then I'm gonna push up and practice. Now this right here is an exercise, okay? Now, there is 1,000 million ways you guys can modify this. You literally take the chair, you can't get to your knees yet. Do everything in standing. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go up and down. Right? I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go up and down. I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go up and down. So just breaking down each thing that you need to do. Then it's a very, progress, not perfection. Then maybe we start to do it on the floor. So there's ways to work this and starting from scratch, basically, and then getting there. And then maybe in 3 months, you've been working on all these exercises with them. Oh my God, I got to the floor and I got up. You know what I mean? And that's how we do it.
I loved it the first time I did it with Megan. It was,
Exactly.
I can do this.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
I have this.
Oh,
Okay, Linda. Do you have any suggestions for stairs? I'm more worried about stairs.
That was my
Stairs?
question.
Yes. Up and down.
I mean,
We know those.
probably
Especially
gonna,
the
probably gonna land the same way, but
Stairs
there's
are
more
scary.
force and it's scarier.
Okay, first of all, make sure, did you guys see my other presentation I gave here? Make sure your stairs have treads. There's a lot of things you can do on your stairs to make it safer. So treads, lights along the stairs, so that when it's dark, you can see. Handrails, maybe bilateral handrails, both sides. There's things you can do to make it so you're not falling down the stairs. But just in general, how do you make stairs better? You do it. You just do it. You do step ups. You do step ups with the handrail. You do step downs. You literally just train it. And then you can do step ups on an uneven surface. So you take this. Again, this also has to be done in a safe manner, obviously. Good. Don't just try this here, like listen to them.
I don't know.
About to make our job really tough.
I know, because it doesn't,
40
you know,
revisions.
like, this is what I do, like, I am one-on-one, hands-on. You gotta modify what you do in the gym versus, So you could do it on an uneven surface. Now we're working that, now we're going down. Coming back up. So training it.
But when you actually fall from, let's say, the third step,
Oh,
you're still. I'm talking about after.
I know.
We're still dropping. and roll, right? I mean,
You want to protect your
Whatever we
body.
can.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you have to protect your head. You have to protect your bones. But yeah, that's
Another way to put it.
or you grab and lower yourself to the step. Then you can just
yeah,
go down. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So say you're going. Say you're going, and you're like, oh, I'm going. All right. Now maybe I grab the hand and I
Yeah.
slowly lower myself,
Okay.
and then I can bump
And
myself
that's-
down.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always picture.
Up forward.
Forward.
I know.
No, I am very careful, but sometimes, you have sneakers on, well, just last
Don't
week,
carry
and it like,
Oh, it gets
you
stuck.
know, it just
Gets
grabs
stuck.
wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm very
Yeah.
careful about
Hold
placing
the
my feet.
railings.
Hold the railing,
Hold the
but,
railings. Don't
you know.
hold. So do not bring. How many times do you do that?
Grocery.
Yeah, you're like this.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going up the stairs. I do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys do that, and then you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
One trip.
Stop.
Yeah.
One hand with the rail, and the one
Right.
with the.
remember?
That's what
Yes,
happens to me.
Dr.
I
Brad?
had a gallon of milk in my hand and a bag with handles in my other hand.
Yep.
And
That's a
at
no-no.
the top step, my foot didn't quite make clear, and down I went.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because the only thing I could think of was, please don't spill milk.
I know, and that's the stuff we think about. Isn't it crazy? It is. It's
Yeah, I thought
true.
about it because it's terrible.
I
trying to
know.
clean that up.
That's right.
But anyway, I stayed there on the floor and waited. My husband was coming in. So, but I was hurting, but I evaluated to see how I felt.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I
I can get up.
get over to that chair
That's
over
the-
there.
I agree. Stairs. Take your time, train them, be strong, do your leg press,
Mhm.
do your leg extensions in here. Train safely, in a safe manner. Do not do anything that's unsafe. And then you feel more confident, and then you are, you know what I mean? And it may just be that, is what you need, a little bit of strength training. So, do you guys have any questions about? So another thing we do in PT a lot, which I know you guys can't do here, because it's not one-on-one, it's people are exercising independently.
Mostly.
Is this is in the research as something very good for balance training, which you will get with a PT. So you can go to PT and you can ask the PT for this type of training. And it's perturbation training. You wanna be mine? You wanna be mine?
What do you want me to do?
I'm gonna ask that first.
Can I do the perturbations on you and? Yeah. Okay, all right. Do you guys have a gait belt or no? No, it's okay.
I think we do.
Kathy, what is that word you're using?
Perturbation.
What is that mean? Were you gonna show us?
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
And this is what you get in therapy. You do not do this on your own. Do not do this at home. All right, face the group. This is Jen. Okay, she's so great.
You have a hunter?
So bring your feet together. Good. No, nothing. And literally just moving her out of her base of support, so she has to step. And see, now she knows what to do. All right, I noticed she's getting the stepping reactions. Practicing those stepping reactions. Is shown to prevent falls. But you can do this here independently. Oh, okay.
Oh, my. Looks
That
brand
tone,
new.
that tone
Yeah.
was very sincere.
This is untrue. We'll take it. Yeah. We practiced this.
Yeah, we did.
See, things like that. So then you're forced to react, and your body knows how to react. She doesn't know where I'm going.
Right.
Can't even get her anymore.
I was flopping like a fish when I first started.
So that's the things like that. But you can do that in here when they're giving you those steps. You're still getting a little bit of that perturbation training. Is stepping, yep.
Yeah.
All different directions. Bird dips. It makes you have to.
Oh, that's what a bird is.
This is the
Oh,
bird dip.
that's
It
what-
makes you have to
okay.
have a balance reaction. Say you're going like this, you're losing breath. It makes you have to have a balance reaction. So stuff like that. What did you say?
So they thought I was just being cruel.
Hey, very good. He knows what he's doing.
Maybe it's a little bit.
Right.
You got a good crew here.
Very good. Yeah, try that at home when you brush your teeth.
Thanks, Jen. Any more questions? So,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
A lot of times, and you guys might be able to answer this question. Pain going down the stairs. They may have that like more than going up. How would we train that?
so eccentric.
Yeah.
So eccentric training on the
Like this.
leg press or the long arc quad.
Okay.
If I call it one.
Yeah, I like it.
Fast up, slow down.
Okay.
That'll train the eccentric, and then you do it.
Gotcha.
You start with nothing, no risers. Then you add a riser.
Just slowly train it. Or use the other leg on the leg
Yeah,
press.
I'll do lateral
And
step
then
downs
Jenny,
first and then
that's what I'm
switch
doing
to
now.
Lateral step down.
I'm doing that now.
Oh, good.
You are on my knees.
Great.
So
So-
our last 3 falls, it's one step and I'm down. Just come out the door and I'm down, and I always fall on my knees,
Mm.
always.
Always.
I cut them open.
Is it the same place?
Huh? Then I fall? No, I fall and
No,
or
on
come
the
on,
knees.
take off a curb,
Oh,
go
yeah.
take a step off the curb.
Okay.
I'm down
So
on
you
my
need- You
knees.
need curb training. So you
One
need,
step out the door and I'm down on my knees.
you need to train that step when you don't have anything to hold on to.
Right.
And you need to strengthen your quads. So big muscle groups, sorry, before I forget, big muscle groups for preventing falls, your glutes. So doing a lot of glute exercise, they can help you with that. Your glute med especially, which is that side.
Right.
So a lot of abduction, a lot of hip extension.
That machine over there.
Yeah,
Oh, this
but
one.
you actually want to do it in standing. Like I love that machine, but it's not functional. I mean, it's great.
Right.
No, it's definitely good.
Right. No, I agree.
Do it, but now let's do it functionally.
Right.
Like, okay, and then let's do it, we're out here, then we have to step, like, let's strengthen it with weight bearing. Open chain weight bearing. So glutes are a huge, and then if people don't have enough hip extension, that tends to be also a difficulty with catching your balance. So even just working flexibility through hip extension is a good thing to make sure people have.
So what would you add if you need to train that, but someone has back issues that limits them from that extension motion? Would you just
That's
do it
really
in
good.
like a lateral,
You find a position where they're not getting pain, and
Okay.
sometimes it's prone.
Yeah. and just do
Sometimes-
like press ups?
Sometimes it's supine with
Yeah.
the legs slightly off.
Mhm.
You guys are getting into physical therapy.
Mm.
Anyone want to cross the border? That's a lot of school though. That's a lot of school. Yeah, so like getting into a non-weight bearing position where their back can be neutral, keeping their back neutral and then hanging maybe off the side slightly. Let's get a little bit of hip extension. But yes, you want everything to be pain-free because that can put a lot of pressure on your back
Yeah.
if you're doing it wrong.
That's-
I find, I live in a split level, six steps to go down or 6 steps to go up. My main level, no stairs. But I find when I use the stairs, I use my arms a lot with the bar. I pull, you pull with that, or I lean
Train
into
that
it.
step up, train the step up, train the step
Yeah.
up, train the step.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the legs.
Or and
And-
going
and
down,
that
I mean, I need that banister. And I hold on tight and I'm always aware.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of everything.
I know. Which is good though, be aware. It's good.
Something that you said, maybe this is a guy thing, but when I fall, which is happening not too often, the most thing I am is embarrassed. And so
So am I.
evaluating whether I'm hurt or not is the last thing.
I know.
Yeah.
You're like looking around and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna see that.
Mortified,
Check and see.
That is very, very real, very real.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't worry about it.
It happens to everybody.
It happens to all of us. I know, that is hard. It
We,
is hard.
we were on vacation once and there was a hot tub to go in it and I went in it and I'm careful. And the young people are in it and they're looking and I said, don't bother me. I'm an old lady and I'm getting in here and I'm not falling.
Never be embarrassed. It's hard to say. It's hard to react.
And you were a hit. That's
Yeah.
good, you know? Loved you.
Any other questions? about PT or just in general, I think, you know, and combining this with PT is very, very, you gotta find a good PT.
I saw you kneeling on the balance pad. Would that help with if you have knee issues?
So, yes, you said I can't get on my knees. So
No.
you would want to try to train it using a pad. You could even, like, maybe find a lower, okay, I'm gonna
Something
come,
more
I wanna
flat.
get on, my goal is to get on my knees. I want this to be more comfortable because I wanna be able to get up when I fall.
Okay.
I'm coming here, look what I'm doing. I'm just doing this to train it. Putting a little pressure, I'm just starting small. You can even put this higher if that's not comfortable. Oh, then look, oh, I'm doing it.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Yeah, you could, that's really. That's high.
Don't do
Closer
it,
to
don't
your
do
knee.
this without your exercise physiologist telling you. Are you all exercising?
Yeah.
Okay, this is all just suggestions, but if you have these concerns, bring them up and they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll put this one in, or I'll put that one in. Don't do any of this without that, or.
Practice, practice, practice.
I think the other thing that an APRN told me was to put the pad, because I've got 2 knees and 2 hips done, put them below the,
Oh, so your knees off the ground. I like that.
yeah.
Thanks for saying that.
What was that?
I don't know what you said.
Huh.
You put the pad or a pillow underneath, because,
Right here,
yeah,
right here. Then your knees don't really touch the ground, so like you can
okay.
guard in,
yeah,
You could.
and it doesn't hurt, you know, it's
Right.
painless.
get like those hockey things.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Really? Did I answer your question?
It was stairs.
It was the stairs, okay.
It's, you know, for whatever reason, for me, sometimes the horizon, I'm just a little bit off and I think it's the last stair and it's not. It's 2 down, like,
That's
Ah,
a,
I
that's
count
an,
every
so
stair
many-
that I go up and down, I count.
Yeah.
that's an eyesight thing, yeah. A
And,
perception thing.
and then I know, okay, I've gotten to 9 or 6 or.
So if you go back to my other presentation I gave, vision, make sure you're getting your vision checked every year. Make sure you have the right glasses, make sure, those are also fall prevention tips. Hearing too. Hearing, make sure your hearing's tested. Hearing plays a role.
I know when I go downstairs and I'm carrying a big bucket or something, I turn around and I go down backwards and I go a step and then I move the bucket down. A couple steps.
Can we get
and
someone
move
else
the
to do the bucket?
Same thing when I go up, I put the bucket and then I come up and I put the
Very
bucket
safe.
and come up.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I'm gonna move those buckets from the basement up.
Exactly, exactly.
So if you had your laundry or something like that, and have it go downstairs, I'm gonna do it step by step with the bucket, so you're not carrying it. The bucket's
I like
on
that.
step.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like these suggestions.
I've also used a cane with, if there's only one railing.
Yeah,
Use the
Great.
cane to help
yep,
and pull yourself up like that.
yep.
Because a lot of times when you go out in public, if there's stairs to go up, there's only one railing on one side.
Yes.
Right.
Well, sometimes you can't reach both.
No, you can't reach. It's very wide. Yeah,
Very wide,
yeah. All these things, right? Any other questions?
Growing older is not for sissies.
Oh, I hear every day, do not get old. I'm like, well, now what?
What's the option?
I'm like, I don't think I have a
Not a great
choice,
option.
unfortunately. But I can exercise and keep myself going better.
Sorry.
Yes, and this is the perfect place. Or come to PT.
Yeah, and I want to make a point about that. So the reason why I like all PTs, all of them, exercise physiologists, physical therapists, we all go into the field to help people, right? To help people get stronger, rehab from injuries, things like that. But sometimes there are places where you go, that's like a physical therapy clinic, right? You go in, you work with a physical therapist for an hour, they do your evaluation, they maybe make an exercise, they maybe make a prescription for you, but then you end up working with a physical therapy aide or somebody else that's not the PT. So Kathy has her practice and you work with her,
Mhm.
right? So it's not, working with somebody that has very little experience. That's why I really like having, people like Kathy come in, because it's not, one of these big places, it's like a factory, right? So,
Don't
it's
get
all,
double booked, all those.
insurance only gives you this amount of time and you can only see the PT once, then you see the PT. It's none of that nonsense. It's scary, frankly,
It is
because
scary.
you go with, you're rehabbing from an injury and then next thing you know, you see that PT once and then you're working with somebody that doesn't have the experience that's needed to be supervising you every session, every second that you're there. So that's the difference between seeing someone like Kathy or, there's other places down the Charlotte, but she's absolutely wonderful. As you can see, she's very passionate and enjoys this. So that's why I just want to
Thank you.
so much for coming,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah.
And, we've had horror stories where,
Yes.
we've had people come in and just had a hip replacement, or they called me, hey, do you have any recommendations? And this is years ago. And I said, anywhere but this place, and I won't say it. And the doctor recommended that they go to that place. Oh, no, it'll be fine. Nightmare. Nightmare. Had to go back in. It was a disaster because exactly what I just said, right? So you go in, you see that PT, and then you see another person every time that you go in because there's so many people out there.
Right.
So that's why there's really a lot of value in working with, again, somebody like Kathy,
PT 101.
one-on-one.
And it is a
So
red
ask,
flag.
go to someone, make sure that you ask.
They're just looking for the
Make sure
billable
you're
time.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
And,
What's that?
yes.
They're looking for billable time,
That's right.
that's all
That's
it
right.
is.
And at the least expense.
Yeah,
Right, so how can they?
right.
So that's
I just recently did some PT for my back and all, and I gotta tell you, I went for several sessions, but I also found that a lot of what she was doing were things that I was doing here.
Good.
And I just said, why am
Why
I
am I
wasting
coming
my
here? Right.
time
Yeah.
going there?
Yeah.
And plus, I can come here probably almost any time, and, everybody's so great,
Yes.
so. And I'll,
And,
even
so-
when I do my revision, Jenny and I will go through it and,
And if you get
I'll
everything, she
tell
said
her
5
exactly
minutes.
what my doctor
She
said, waiting for me to show her my pictures or my results, we work around that, so.
It is good to check in with the PT though, like, especially after an injury or anything like that. And like George said, it's a red flag. If you get in there, you see your PT for 10 minutes and then you're not seeing your PT. Not the place to go.
It's all
Good
good.
hours.
You want
I mean,
101.
put me on a recumbent bike,
Right.
to
And that's-
warm up at PT, when I was here during the morning.
Already did
I
it.
already did 30 minutes,
Yeah, you want that hands-on care where you're really getting
Yeah.
one-on-one.
And another thing about those type of places, like you're working just with the insurance company will only pay if they're, you have a
Yes.
knee injury, right? So hyper-focused here, your arm could be falling off.
Right.
And they cannot do anything but this.
And that's the
Right,
insurance
yeah.
company putting the restriction.
That's right, it's not the PTs,
It's
that's what I
not.
wanted to start with, like,
Yeah.
it's not them.
Yeah.
It's just that's what
It's the
they're.
system.
No.
It's the system, so. there's-
That's why I took myself out of the system.
Yeah.
And then, so I could give good care, full body, full body. Yeah. Yeah.
One big machine.
Thanks, George. Yeah.
Well, that's
You guys
for
are
sure.
awesome. Yeah. And
Have
you
you
guys
had
can
balance videos on?
We have a lot, nothing really recent, but we have got dozens, maybe hundreds of them.
Of
So,
what?
yeah, I sent out an email that, but really, should almost be like everything else that we do. We do balance classes, which is fantastic, but a lot of stuff should be personalized. And,
If you're really-
each person meet you where you're at, give you movements that are appropriate for you now, and then gradually build, you up rather than, always in a group setting. If you're just starting, like we have people that do the balance class here, they've been doing it for years, and, wonderfully. But it's best to start off with that individualized, again, start with crawling, then walk, and then move forward. Not physical crawling, I know we referenced that.
I just want to say, I can't say enough about Kathy. I've been seeing her since October, one-on-one. And I never would have thought I'd be able to make it to a gym like this. I mean, I really didn't. I was a mess. Yeah, I was a hot mess. But even though I'm still kind of a hot mess here, I'm far better than I was. And I attributed it all to her. She gave me the confidence and the skills to get here. So I had a beautiful experience with Kathy, and I'm having a wonderful experience here. So it's a nice transition.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for sharing. I think we're all having a good experience here.
Yes.
Yep, good.
Depends.
Well, depends what day you ask me.
Yeah, you guys don't have to get Ronnie's opinion, just the other 99.
Ronnie, can you tell them your experience of how you became a member?
How I became a member. I went out for lunch with somebody and I decided afterwards that I wanted dessert. So I went into Guilford, into the shopping center, to the bakery, and I got something in this big sign across the way, and it says, exercise for, older, well over 50 or whatever it said.
Yeah.
I knew it was for not little kids. And so I said, my husband and I had just been talking about we really should be doing something. So I walk in, George is there, and he's giving me the whole spiel and he talked me through it, and he says, and if you start it and you don't like it, I'll let you opt out. If you join, you can opt out. And I said, no, you won't, because I'll do that. You don't have to. I join, I'm here, I'm there, and that's the way it is for the rest of my life.
Aw.
Yeah.
So that's how I got there. How many years ago was that?
It's gotta be 9. I would say maybe 10.
At least.
Maybe
And then I
10.
joined in Guilford, because that's all there was. And then when he said he was moving to Branford, or he was opening in Branford, and I said, I'm first to join. I live 5 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When she joined, I had a full head of hair, no grays. Now look at me. Disaster.
Oh, I thought you said me.
It's all your fault, Thurman.
All right. If you guys have any other questions, I'll hang out for a little bit. You can come up and ask. But
Thank you
otherwise-
very much.
George, thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
That was great. Thank you.
Good.